The conduct of our parliament has opened a Pandora's box, and Kenyans are reacting to the shameful manner in which Rigathi Gachagua was treated in the floor of the National Assembly. Members behaved in a way suggesting that they had already made a decision. Despite the evidence that was placed before them, all these plans had been hatched to chase Rigathi Gachagua. One of the reasons why Rigathi was chased was because he was being accused of being a tribal chief. I agree to some extent that Rigathi carried himself in a manner that is falling short of a national leader. However, people agree that the only sin that Rigathi Gachagua did was to expose himself, yet all the other leaders in the public office have, in one way or the other, practiced tribalism and the shareholding politics. But then something is coming up, and many political pundits are revealing that William Ruto could be the one who is practicing directly or indirectly tribal politics against the Kikuyu community, against Mount Kenya. We have all been voting on tribal lines. Those will vote whoever is in ODM or whoever is being supported by Raila Amolo Odinga. You saw what happened when the ODM leaders ganged up and they were at the forefront to ensure that they kick Rigathi Gachagua away. Most of the Mount Kenya fraternity voted for William Ruto because Rigathi Gachagua was their deputy. In fact, that is the main reason why William Ruto did not pick a running mate from Western. He could have picked Musalia Mudavadi, but he decided to pick Rigathi Gachagua. In this context, I have a video where Ali Joho has got a very urgent message, and this message did not come today because Joho and many other politicians and leaders had warned the Mount Kenya fraternity that in the event that they chose William Samoei Ruto, they would wait for years before they taste the trappings of power again. You know, when Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto formed the government, Uhuru had said, I will do my 2 terms and I will pass on the baton to you. Kumi yangu, kumi yako. But Uhuru accused William Samoei Ruto of running ahead of his time instead of waiting for the baton. But William Ruto says that I had just realized that Uhuru was not with me. He wanted to hand over the baton to our opponent. That was the beginning and the genesis of their differences. But for Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto, there wasn't any written promise that Ruto would do a period of maybe 2 terms and hand over the baton to Rigathi Gachagua. As a matter of fact, Rigathi has been humiliated and ashamed when he's being reminded over and over again that after all, he was not the first choice in Ruto's arrangement. The first choice was Kithure Kindiki, the man who is being seen as the heir apparel. But Rigathi Gachagua, having tasted the trappings of power, wanted to be entitled to show William Ruto that I gave you millions of votes and therefore I deserve some respect that is commensurate to the votes that we gave you. But I want you to listen to Ali Joho because it's gonna form the basis of our discussion.
Lakini nataka niwaulize watu wa Kiambu. Baada ya hayati Jomo Kenyatta, Mwenyezi Mungu kumchukua mbele ya haki, Moi alipoingia, mulingoja miaka mingapi mpate serikali nyingine? Miaka mingapi? 24 years Munajua kwamba vile Ruto amepanga, lao akiingia hii serikali, nyinyi watu wa mlima mtangoja miaka 50. Munajua hivyo? Munajua hivyo? Na nitawaambia mimi ni kwa nini. Kwa sababu Ruto amejipanga. Jambo la kwanza aliyofanya, alichukua mhalifu kama naibu wake. Ndio maana akiingia katika serikali na hawezi ingia, mpango yake ilikuwa ni Gachagua afungwe, alafu wachague mtu mwingine ambaye anayetaka na hatoki hapa mlimani. Na alikuwa amepanga kubadilisha katiba, akae hapo, akae. Ni mungekubali hiyo?
Now, if you think that it was only Joho who had warned the Mount Kenya fraternity, I want you to listen to William Ruto himself in a video that you've all heard and seen over and over again, confirming that he himself had a problem with the kind of politics around Mount Kenya. And you will agree with me that none is clean of tribalism. None is clean of shareholding.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi, kama mko na shida na Wakikuyu, hamuko na shida na Wakikuyu kuliko sisi wa Kalenjin. Tuko na shida kubwa zaidi. Sawa sawa? Lakini ikifika mahali unatofautisha maneno, unaweka maneno ya tofauti za kijamii kando, unatafuta serikali kwanza, kwa sababu ile serikali itakusaidia kutatua matatizo ulio nayo. Lakini kama wewe unakwama mahali moja, unasema huyu simpendi na huyo hatoki Kenya, atakuwa hapo, siku ya kupiga kura atapiga kura hata na yeye. Sasa wewe utafanya namna gani?
Many people have predicted. I was even reading something that was purportedly from the late Jacob Juma, purporting to be predicting that if William Ruto takes over power, he would deal with this deputy, if the deputy would try to question some of his deals. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, from the two clips, I want us to try and break it down, because this is coming at a time when Rigathi Gachagua has been impeached and people are wondering, was it the right thing to do? If you look and if you listen to those two clips from William Ruto himself and from Johan, there are very many of them. Couldn't have come at a better time like this. You'll realize that tribal politics has been here with us. And therefore, you cannot tell Rigathi Gachagua that is a tribal chief. If we were to impeach leaders on the basis of playing tribal politics, William Ruto would have been the president of this country. Because Rigathi was saying, I have only learned from my boss. I've told you that Rigathi Gachagua has been perfecting what William Ruto did. So tribal politics has been there. It has been pronounced by leaders. So if Rigathi Gachagua made a mistake by pronouncing it, that was William Samoei Ruto. William Ruto was saying, sometimes you have to put your differences aside, then get power, then you deal with these people. And I can assure you that William Ruto is slowly but surely dealing with the Mount Kenya divide and rule. He first created a line, a fault line between Rigathi and Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't think Uhuru has forgiven Rigathi Gachagua. Now, it is Rigathi Gachagua against the other leaders. It is called divide and rule, and William Ruto has perfected the much hyped unity in Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya has always bragged as a people who will talk politics during the day, and they will go and sit down somewhere at night and talk in a language, modo wa nyumba, where no one would listen. But William Ruto has cuttled that, and they have been exposed as people who can easily be divided. For a very long time, people thought Mount Kenya knew how to, play their cards, but no. Number two, attention now switches to who and where William Ruto is going to place his bet for the next deputy president. I've heard people say that no, it could be Kithure Kindiki. He's going to get his rightful share as the members of parliament had voted him to become the running mate. But others are saying that William Ruto is not so keen on winning the Mount Kenya votes, because from what he has done, people on the ground might not be with him so much, and so he might head directly to Western, the son of Mulembe, Moses Mudavadi, and then the prime minister position goes to someone else. But others are also saying that Raila Amolo Odinga might not be on the ballot in 2027, and therefore William Ruto could be warming up to picking someone from Western, from Nyanza. And so we are waiting with bated breath and see, because from what Joho was saying, he had picked Rigathi Gachagua so that he could deal with Rigathi Gachagua. He has just begun the exercise of dealing with Rigathi Gachagua. Because if Rigathi Gachagua is going to be impeached and that verdict is upheld at the Senate, then he goes to seek legal redress and reinterpretation at the court. And the courts also go ahead to uphold the verdict from the National Assembly and the Senate. Then I can assure you that he will be gone and they can decide to take him to court now on the charges. Because if you listen to what people are saying, it is like they are accusing Rigathi of trying to, play some machinations and schemes to topple Ruto's government. I have a feeling that they might find one of the charges and take him to court. And with that, they shall have annihilated Rigathi Gachagua politically. And so Joho's prophecy could be right. And Ruto's assertion that he has a problem with Mount Kenya people, Mount Kenya politics, could be right. And don't accuse me of playing tribal politics. We are only trying to lay bare the fact that we have fallen short of the glory of being perfect leaders as we purport to be. And therefore, when we want to cherry pick leaders and punish them on the basis of all these choreographed charges, we are equally guilty. Number 3, William Ruto was never keen on passing the baton back to Mount Kenya. And I want you to understand that. He was never keen on passing the baton to Mount Kenya. And I remember Mount Kenya had sat down and they were saying that after Kibaki did his 2-term, Uhuru did his 2-term, and therefore we needed to take some break and let someone just come in, then we'll go back to power. Some people are saying that there was some kind of politics of entitlement. But from what is happening, and I know sometimes you might not want to talk about this, yet you know it from where you see it, from where you play your politics, you understand that William Ruto was so keen on making sure that after he does his 2 terms, then he passes the baton somewhere else. And this tells you, and that is why, in fact, if you look at what is happening, William Ruto never wanted a situation or a scenario where someone would stand before him that he's a kingpin from a certain region, and therefore if he has to go there, he has to pass through him. He wanted to break that barrier so that he does not pass through Rigathi Gachagua when he's going back to Mount Kenya. I don't think whether he can go back to Mount Kenya and get the same reception that he got last time, because the bottom up can no longer work. Using the church, I don't think whether that can work. The youths and the hustler narrative can no longer work. So this time round, he has to go back to the drawing board. And I think William Ruto is looking towards the western part. If Raila will give him the support base, then he wants to ride on that. Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto has confirmed that he has a problem with the mountain. I don't know which problem. He has now gotten the power. He's dealing with them. Divide and rule. Finish them. Create this sibling rivalry. Let them fight among themselves. And this time round, he has succeeded in implementing what he had in mind. He himself said it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let us be careful. And Mount Kenya must understand that choices have got consequences. In 2022, there were other horses. Raila was there. Gachagua was there. Today, as they look back in retrospect, they understand that they should have voted in another person. The person that they rejected is now dining on the same table with William Ruto. You saw how the ODM members of parliament were very bitter because of Gachagua's utterances and how they used Raila's name to ensure that he never ascended to power. What do you make out of Joho's statement and William Ruto's assertion?